In breaking news, a dramatic incident aboard the Norwegian Epic cruise ship has left passengers in shock as a mother and daughter were stranded after the ship unexpectedly broke free from its moorings. This shocking event occurred while the ship was preparing to set sail, leaving the two passengers stranded on the dock as the vessel drifted away. The situation quickly escalated into a nightmare for the two passengers, as they watched helplessly from the port while the ship pulled away, caught in an unpredictable and dangerous situation. The Norwegian Epic, one of the most popular ships in the Norwegian Cruise Line fleet, was scheduled to depart, but things quickly went wrong. The ship was docked at the port, and the mom and her daughter, who had been eagerly awaiting their cruise vacation, were getting ready to board when disaster struck. With no prior warning, the moorings that were holding the ship in place suddenly failed. The ship, which had been stationary moments earlier, broke free and began drifting away from the port. As the vessel started moving, the crew was scrambling to regain control, but the situation was deteriorating quickly. The mother and daughter, caught completely off guard, were left stranded on the dock, watching as their dream vacation began to unravel before their eyes. The emotional impact of this incident was immediate and overwhelming. The mother's frantic plea of, "Why is our ship leaving us?" echoed across the port, as the passengers on board the ship were unaware of what was happening outside. The incident, which occurred while the ship was preparing to set sail, has raised serious questions about the safety protocols in place on cruise ships. This wasn't just an inconvenience for the mother and daughter, this was a life-altering moment. The Norwegian Epic, after breaking free from the port, was left adrift for several hours while the crew worked to secure the ship and bring it back to the dock. This left the passengers stranded, unsure of what would happen next. For the mother and daughter, this was an emotional roller coaster. Their excitement and anticipation of their vacation turned into confusion and fear as they realized they would not be boarding the Norwegian Epic as planned. There was no immediate clarity from the cruise line about what was going on, leaving passengers to fend for themselves. As hours passed, their hopes of starting their cruise diminished, and they were left with nothing but questions. As the Norwegian Epic drifted further away from the port, it became apparent that this was no minor issue. The ship had broken free from its moorings in a highly dangerous situation. What should have been a smooth departure turned into a critical safety failure, leaving passengers, like the mother and daughter, caught in an emotional whirlwind. With the ship now in an unsafe position, it was unclear how long it would take for the crew to regain control and return to the dock. The crew, alongside port authorities, worked tirelessly to resolve the situation, but there was a growing sense of unease among the passengers. The situation was unfolding rapidly, with no immediate answers to the chaos. The mother and daughter were left stranded, watching their vacation slip away as the clock ticked on. Passengers on board were uncertain when they would finally be allowed to reboard. The entire scenario raised alarms about the cruise line's ability to handle safety failures and manage emergencies effectively. This incident highlights not only the physical dangers that can occur at sea, but also the emotional toll such events take on passengers. The Norwegian Epic is a massive cruise ship, and yet it was left vulnerable to a failure in its docking system. For the mom and daughter who found themselves stranded, it wasn't just about missing a few hours of their vacation. It was about feeling powerless and helpless in the face of a situation they could not control. The uncertainty and lack of communication from the cruise line added to the stress and frustration. While the crew was actively working to resolve the situation, the passengers were left with no clear understanding of what had gone wrong, how it would be fixed, and when they could resume their planned vacation. It's one thing to deal with minor setbacks while on a cruise, but it's an entirely different level of distress when you are caught in a situation where safety protocols are clearly being tested, and the stakes are much higher than anyone anticipated. If you're planning a cruise, this story should serve as a wake-up call. It's crucial to stay informed about the policies and safety measures of the cruise lines, especially when it comes to emergency protocols. With incidents like this happening more frequently, it's important to ask questions, read the fine print, and ensure that you're fully aware of what to expect before stepping on board. If you want to stay updated on this developing story and learn more about the world of cruising, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a breaking news update. Share this video with fellow travelers and cruise lovers. They need to know what could happen if things go wrong on their dream vacation. This incident is sure to capture the attention of the cruise community and travel enthusiasts alike. The emotional stakes, the uncertainty, and the shocking nature of the event create the perfect storm for viral content. Not only does it raise concerns about cruise ship safety, but it also taps into the fear and anxiety many passengers have when it comes to being stranded or facing unforeseen circumstances while on vacation. This story will spread quickly across social media, with people sharing their thoughts, concerns, and opinions on the matter. If you've ever experienced something similar on a cruise or are worried about safety on your next trip, this is the video you'll want to share. As we wrap up this report, one thing is clear. This isn't just a random incident. It's a sign of the potential dangers that passengers face when cruising. The Norwegian Epic is one of the largest cruise ships in the world, and yet, a failure of this magnitude has highlighted the vulnerabilities that still exist within the cruise industry. The heartbroken mom and daughter in this story represent a larger truth, that anything can go wrong, and passengers must always be prepared for the unexpected. We'll be watching closely to see how Norwegian Cruise Line handles this situation and what steps they will take to ensure that something like this never happens again. In the meantime, stay informed, stay safe, and keep watching for updates on this and other important travel news.